It's really strange to me that my brothers, or my brother Kenny, when I was a young lad, would want to put me out like that in the first place. And as far as remembering the rape now, even after that long standing of a poisoning, it's as if they were trying to make it as though I just had a nightmare. When they know that that's wrong, that whatever I saw and what I saw and witnessed to at such a young age, that it was all a nightmare when it wasn't. I know what I saw. At that age, I just didn't know what to do about it. And after that, being poisoned in that way, I know now what I've been living through. Yeah, just as much as I knew then, getting up that next day for such a short time before my memories were dispersed. I know what I lived through, and it's horrific. And with the ways that I felt at such a young age, when every single thing hurt me and felt like being stabbed down to the cellular level, where everywhere you step, everywhere you went, you were on edge as such a young kid, just like frozen inside of yourself. Like, you can imagine me, a little kid, just like cringing over everything that I had to live through at that point. But you see, that's whatever they did to me, that's what they did to me. That wasn't just inside of my head, and it wasn't just some nightmare. What I saw back then, just as much as what I was witnessing throughout my life and leading up until now to reach discovery of these very insidious crimes, is real. And I know to the average person, it doesn't seem real, but it didn't even seem real to me. The fact of the matter is that it's a real sick crime, and it's the worst type of crime, and it's the worst kind of its kind, I think, in all of history happening to me. To me. So can you tell me how you'd fight that? Where the nightmare of suffocating down to the cellular level didn't just stop all of a sudden when I woke up. No, it was the beginning of a whole nightmare. The nightmare of what I've had to live through ever since then. Because to tell you the truth, after being poisoned up to that magnitude, I never did get to wake up from a nightmare. Because anytime I'd fall asleep and wake up, fall asleep and wake up, I'd still be right smack dab in the middle of that nightmare. And the fact of the matter is that I've been living through it ever since. Living with it and living in it. This has all been coordinated. Lifelong psychological, lifelong psychological torture. Physical torture of my body and mind. And would physically take me down in a way that I wouldn't have been able to explain it, especially at such a young age. So I've been going through hell. Long-term exposure to covert malignant narcissists that are meaning to poison you up as well. I believe it to be a cold and calculated arsenic poisoning, along with anything else that they used to hurt me. But from my studies and having to study all poisons, because I didn't think what was the poison, I just thought I was being poisoned and needed to get away. But after my studies, yeah, the most triggering one of them all and the most descriptive one to what I've been living through is a very cold and calculated arsenic poisoning. And it's called arsenic trioxide. They'd say it's the king of all poisons. Wiping out your memories, taking you off balance, and setting you inside of a mind that you don't have much of your memories. So the only thing you do have is what's right in front of you. And I personally think that anyone that's worked with me would know and be able to see my workmanship as exactly that, and that they could put it down on paper and get it over to the appropriate people, which I've been asking for a long time. Not only that, but it takes away your ability to think straight. So it's much like a biological warfare that they use to push me around with, all to suggest that it's mental health, when it's not. And not just for a season, but for decades long, year in and year out. So that's not mental illness. That's a cold and calculated slow erasure and a slow motion murder of somebody. So now a same decree from the system, just wanting to purport what little bit that they have to run with, where they've ignored every single last red flag, just like the medical community had. And all so that they can try and maneuver me to take me up all out of the home, that they know that they created this identity theft and fraud, and that they would be the people to create that identity theft and fraud, to create life insurance policies and move the title so that the title and the deed to the home can go to them as well. Yeah, to put me in jail, put the innocent victim in jail so that they can get away with indemnifying their crimes against me. Me, the victim in the situation, the survivor with the story. And yeah, a heavy story at that. So after 40 years of being arsenic abused, having your life controlled by proxy, you're not going to be mad. Where are you going to put that anger, and how are you going to channel that anger? Because throughout the past, anytime that they got me into a reactionary state of mind, they used that reactionary state of mind to get me into trouble. And it's worked. It's worked wondrously. But right now, I'm not having it. And they can't stand that fact. But I have every right to heal. I have every right to call back my energy. And I have every right to suggest, even if they don't want to go after the rightful people in this, that they should leave me the F alone. And sure, I got mad. And I didn't know where to put that madness. As if you could imagine every single cell in your body coming up from being underneath water and needing that gasp of air after that long of being exposed to arsenic poisoning, finally getting oxygen to fill up inside of your body so that you can not only recall these memories, but that you can set them down into words on paper and start working with them. So yeah, my whole body was gasping for air. So they're going to blame me for getting mad? Because I finally had the courage to speak out about it. To speak out about what I had been going through the entire time. So now the state of Minnesota wants to take over the case? Railroad me with statute 609.713.1. Threats of violence? Are you kidding me? Reckless disregard risk? Again, are you kidding me? Where the threats of violence have been towards me, life long. And as far as reckless disregard risk, yeah, look who's the reckless disregard. They not only disregarded me in my life and my mind, but they've been reckless about it, leaving breadcrumbs all over the place. And so they're utilizing my online posts just to take short little clippings to try and run the railroad right over me. Like, really? And then to make it seem like I'm the danger, when they know that they've been dangerous towards me the entire time. And the real danger, if you ask me, is the rapist who's willing to rape his own kids. It is the identity thieves. And these poisoners then just get to walk free? Not on my watch. Not to mention, I should have the right to know who's impersonating me online, utilizing my face and image, clipping up my work, and even utilizing AI to say the exact opposite of what I'm coming out here to say. That's an imposter. So comment hashtag make it make sense. I spoke out about my father. And no, it's not because I'm trying to actually go there and hurt him now. It's because I'm hurting. Because I've never received any kind of help from him at all, ever. He raped my sister and he poisoned me up in my bottle, unable to even know how to say mama or dada. You fucking kidding me? All of a sudden the state wants to run rampant on me for just coming out and speaking the truth. Where's my right to speak? Where's my right to channel all of the anger that I do feel? And how would someone recommend me channeling that anger? In fits of rage, so that I don't lash out in that kind of way? Because these are positions of disappointment where oftentimes people do take the law into their own hands. And I'm suggesting to the natural public that I am a non-violent and that there is no threats of violence here. I legitimately wanted to knock on his door and say, where the fuck were you for me, Dad? Where have you been in my life, Dad? Besides making sure to indemnify your all fucked up crimes against your own family and me. And yeah, my brothers not only witnessed it, they ran away like cowards, trying to cover it. Especially with telling me that I'm the one that needs counseling and me going to counseling and the counselor suggesting that, yeah, I needed family counseling and I had every right to learn who these people were going to be in my life. So now they're complicit with trying to erase me completely. And you know why. It's to cover up their tracks and indemnify their crimes against me. Take out life insurance policies in my name, being the fraudulent broker that my brother was, and now the fraudulent, majorly fraudulent home mortgage broker that he is. It's not just an identity theft of stealing away my social media accounts and having me have to repair broken credit. They had me on their credit. They could have kept me on their credit and actually helped me and helped me further before introducing proxy made relationships, meaning to take me out. Because it's identity theft through my very accounts and identity theft through life insurance policies, and it's identity erasure and identity theft. And through my accounts, through my phones, through all of the data that they got through the hacker, stalking me for job sabotage or much of anything to do with my financial life. Even my gig work and gig app community was tampered with, and they set up an accident, and the only one that came was all Anoka County sheriffs, as if that's not weird. No, not one state trooper. No, not one actual police officer. You could even hear it in the reports with the discovery I got. No, I got this, Bill. I got this. Not like they haven't already made money on trying to end my life, 'cause they have. And it's not just a little bit of money, it's a lot of money. Not to mention what I would have been able to do with that money in my own pocket, but also what I would have been able to do with all of the time that it would have permitted in my life to spend it with family, friends, and building a community of people that could actually be there for me and with me on the real, not no proxy made relationship and not no proxy made friendship. So I have every right to speak out about this and I have every right to heal from this. And even if, like I said, they don't want to go after the rightful parties, I deserve to ask for a new name, a new social security number, and move on with my life. They can go ahead and live out the rest of their lives if they don't want to go after the rightful people, but let me live mine. So I have every right to speak. Every single right to speak. I'm not a violent person, and I'm not a criminal. I'm a human being that deserves his rights. I'm a targeted man that's been targeted into silences. And I have been fighting just to stay alive. In my body, currently. In my mind, currently. And for their whole soul's erasure of me, doing the spirit cooking type of satanic ritual abuse, or however you would want to name it. It's the same thing all over my life, and I'm not privy to it. They can go ahead and continue to be privy about their crimes, but I'm not okay with it. Not one little bit. And even yet, I built a life up for myself out of the wreckage that I had been faced with. Working tirelessly, mind you, to get the money together to get a house in the first place. Not to have the deeds be transferred from one place to the next without my whereabouts. These are people that forged my signature, but I'm still trying to work up my ministry. I'm still trying to work up my plan for my healing, and that's what my heart works is about. And it's supposed to be with truth and with love, not even for myself and for myself alone, but for those that would even purport to do this type of crime to their own. You deserve to try and get help for yourselves. And just because I got mad, with every single right to be mad about this crime against me, all of a sudden they're wanting to take and make me out to be the villain? What? Again, comment, hashtag, go ahead. Make it make sense. This doesn't make me out to be a villain. It makes me out to be human. A regular human being. They didn't want me to speak. They need to, and they want to, reverse my story and to bury me up underneath the fake version that they're creating of me to be. That they can clip up my work and make it look like anything that they need to make it look like. And to finish the life off that they were doing, a life, total life erasure over my life. Finish off the life theft of me that they all started ever since I was a child. So here's the truth. I deserve to live, and I deserve to live in peace. I deserve a new name, a new start, a new social security number, a chance to live my life free from the criminal intent of others over me, and be free from the criminals once and for all. Just like I've said, even if the courts don't want to go after the rightful people in this crime, I should be given the freedom of movement to move on from the crime, and you can go ahead and let them live their dumb little half-hearted lives. I've done enough fighting throughout my life just to be able to breathe, and not only breathe in my lungs, but breathe down to the cellular levels. So if you're hearing this, if you've been through anything like what I've been through, will you support me? You personally know how deep that darkness goes. So I'm telling you, I'm not trying to go away quietly with this one, because they need me to go quietly into the night. I'm not going to let them paint my survival story as no kind of threat of violence, because they know exactly what they did. This is why they're trying so hard to silence me now. But the fact of the matter is this. It doesn't matter. And you know why? Because the truth is out.